We've had people who've never rapped before win our contest because it's not about skill or being hard. That's the imagery that you get when you watch hip hop. It's not about that. It's about what you put on the table. It's about vulnerability and openness and trying. It's about trying to be in community. And that gets celebrated more than somebody grabbing their genitalia and slouching and thinking I'm better than you. Suburban white men who buy 70% of hip hop don't tend to want to hear black women rapping about their lives. Maybe their assets, but not their lives.
Man. Alrighty, so thanks everyone for tuning into this episode. Today we have a familiar face, Khafre Jay, Executive Director of Hip Hop for the Future. Khafre, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Wednesday to spend with us.
Of course, Joseph. I got you, man, always. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So, per usual for these episodes, we like to get it kicked off is the mission statement. So what is the mission of Hip Hop for the Future?
Yeah, man. Right now, I am using hip hop to reimagine public health, how we access it, how we empower it, how we share the information about community needs. I've been telling people recently, Black people have no efficacy in healthcare. We need like supplementary organizations, NGOs to help us. Same with the financial sector. We need financial literacy orgs to come in or whatnot. But one thing we do have efficacy over is hip hop culture, not the stuff you see on TV controlled by the media. But I'm talking about the community hip hop where we share, our hopes, our dreams, our pains, our causes, and share those resources. So I've been using hip hop culture to throw fat ass hip hop shows rooted around public health, just getting resources in. Started with Drip Fest, dropping resources in place. Now we're part of the San Francisco Family Pregnancy Village, a bunch of other things. But yeah, we're trying to heal.
Yeah. Why you? Why is this a calling that you've taken up on is your responsibility?
Why not me? If not me,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've been doing hip hop organizing since I realized that our culture was just being taken away from us. Right now, we got 3 corporations that own about 90% of the means of producing my culture's depiction, and they have no fiduciary responsibility to Black people who have no money. So 70% of rap is bought by white men. They don't tend to want to hear Black women rap about patriarchy, for example. So we're missing so much of our culture. So I started in 2013 just trying to build platforms to get our local artists paid. Slowly but surely, man, hip hop is rooted in just our communities, and those issues come to the forefront of the hip hop consciousness. So we started throwing Latino heritage shows, like Black empowerment shows, Afro-Asian solidarity events, women's empowerment summits. So I've been doing this for a long time, just getting artists paid and creating some sort of impact. Right after Roe versus Wade, I got a little disillusioned at the body politic. And I feel like it's really important to utilize my ancestors' mortal sacrifices on good bets with my energy, right? And after Roe, when I saw that tepid response to the Supreme Court overturning that long-standing precedent, I felt like collective empathy is not something that I could bank on right now. I think it's time to go insular. It's time to let folks that have the power and privilege try to change that system. For me right now, my people are dying. In the Bay Area, Black people, San Francisco in particular, with 5% of the population, but with 38.7% of the unhoused. And these folks are walking by eating ice cream. I don't get it. Black women in the Bay are dying 3 or 4 times more than white women giving birth to Black babies here. And it's abhorrent. This is a very gilded city. So I want to just use hip hop to make people healthy. And of course, hip hop's rooted in unity. So everybody can come get these resources too.
Yeah. Not banking on collective empathy. I think I experienced a similar feeling as well recently. But how do you balance that with also like it is a part of the answer as well, staying positive about the situation, or like how do you convert that into actual actions, like somebody that is frustrated with something. How from your experiences, how have you best tried to mitigate that kind of that thought and that challenge that we
Well,
face internally sometimes?
I feel like it's not like just hope or no hope, right? It's like, what do we have hope for? And
Yeah.
what don't we have hope for, right? It's a little bit more nuanced in my mind because Do I have hope for U.S. hegemony? Do I even want hope for it? I don't know. That's a long conversation. But I do have hope for individual, really cool white folks, right? I do have hope for individually really cool men, you know what I'm saying? And I can meet a lot of those in a day on the sidewalk. But yeah, I think we have power to make some sort of changes, you know what I'm saying? And we have to have the strength to make those changes. We can't, right? We also can't be stupid enough to think we can change some stuff we can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go protest the ICE right now. I'm not the one, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the black folks who are doing that, you know what I'm saying? But me and my 6-year-old daughter, it's just me and her right now. So I got to do what I can. I got to protest in a way that works. In the last year, I raised almost $250,000 to use hip hop as a weapon against disinformation, a weapon against the loss of social capital in our communities and our just community bonds. So, and also to empower some badass hip hop voices, graffiti artists doing graffiti with the kids with great messages while pregnant and postpartum people are getting services. That's hip hop to me. Rappers that come from the community, right, wearing hijabs, rapping about reproductive justice, making everybody cry, or the local open mic we've been doing for 55 weeks straight in Berkeley, where the rap writing contest topic was addiction, and people were bawling in the audience, and people were going holding their chest and stuff like that. That's public health to me. That means we have control of what's going on in our hood and how we feel about it. And as long as black and brown folks and really anybody knows what's going on, I don't, I just saw this senator, somebody running for some position. He said, everybody, that lady is misinformed, but she's not stupid, right? You know what I'm saying? She wants the same things we do. We just got to get this information out. So how do we share that? And how do we make people feel comfortable around resources where typically they don't? We just started doing hip hop therapy with the Amani program in San Francisco, DPH. A lot of people always say, man, they don't find it really hard to be vulnerable. People like me, we find it hard to be vulnerable around 92% white women we have never met before in a doctor's office, elevator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it like that. Let's humanize this. But black men, I see them every Wednesday rap about the most significantly vulnerable things that they've ever gone through in front of rooms full of people and get high fives for it. And yeah, I mean, every culture has their methodologies of healing. And so I think we really got to invest in that right now. I don't care if you Asian, Laotian, you know what I'm saying, or from Zimbabwe, or you from Guinea. I don't care. You can use hip hop. People are rapping in Quechua down in Peru. You know what I'm saying? People are rapping in Syria, and I think everybody freestyles in the shower.
Yep.
I want to invite everybody to, if you feel bad, rap about it. Rap about it. Go ahead. Anyway.
Oh, well, that is powerful. And what you mentioned earlier about the three kind of the main corporations that are misrepresenting the culture because they have a lot of times a bottom line that they have to meet. Have you seen these grassroots measures start to get traction and kind of fighting against that? Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah,
hear some examples. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, dude, if I'm in Chicago, I'm a 17-year-old, I'm in the projects, and somebody's like, I'll give you 200 grand, sign right now, I'm going to start a line. You get your mom out the projects, you rap about killing everybody. You know what I'm saying? Game theory means there's going to be a lot of rapping about killing everybody. What if we had a contest that had people rap about battle rapping cancer, or rapping about genocide? Pick one, whatever one you want. A rap about women you respect, or reproductive justice. Now I got people writing bars every Wednesday about the most pressing issues. You know what I'm saying? I do KPO radio, 89.5 FM in San Francisco. I had a Sunday off for 11 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Playing local Bay Area hip hop. And I don't play anything that, elevates oppression. You know what I'm saying? Black communities have the lowest instance of sexual assault and rape of any racial demographic in the Bay Area. You wouldn't know that by the depictions of us on TV, but when you listen to KPO radio, you're hearing black people talking about protecting families. You know what I'm saying? You're hearing women rapping about the power of a woman. Sometimes I play hour-long blocks of women rappers because suburban white men who buy 70% of their hip hop don't tend to want to hear black women rapping about their lives. Maybe their assets, but not their lives.
Man, that's like it's like what is wrong with humanity for wanting to hear about people killing people than compared to things that are very hopeful, like fighting cancer and overcoming cancer. Like what?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I would say like this. I always say, there's even black kids that love that stuff too. And I love some trap. You know, I Pop Smoke got some dimes out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the hood. I come from violence as well. You know, and but I think there's a whole ecosystem when it comes to movies, right? It's easy to see aliens get their heads blown off because we don't see them. We got to kill the predator, right? You got to kill the predator. You got Mars attacks. I think suburban white folks, I can't imagine being one. 70% of white people in America report not to have a single person of color for a friend, let alone a dude that looks like me. You know what I'm saying? Their only representation generally of black men like me is aliens, predators, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And most people that have babies that pass me, if I don't have my daughter, because I challenge any dad to be the best father in the world. My bad, Joseph.
No, it's okay.
But if I don't have my daughter, most people grab their babies when they pass me. I tell them I don't eat babies. I had lunch. It's good. I'm full. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
You also see kids grabbing their parents because they're scared too, because they've only seen predators and aliens. You know what I'm saying? Talking about aborted things. This is reinforced and reinforced. And I always tell people, if you only see rap music on white media, it's bad for your brain. You know what I'm saying? It's bad for your humanity. It's bad for your humanity for people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? It's bad for your understanding of my potential. Right? But people grab their babies. They should give me their damn babies. I probably would do a better job. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, not to hate on these people, but I think that's what it is. It's a lack of humanity. So when they see these people rapping about Chicago, they don't hear, all they hear is Lil Durk, King Von rapping about smoking their ops and whatever. But they don't hear all those other black and brown people in the homes trying to feed their babies, walking through, not even the biggest war zone in the world, you know what I'm saying, or in America, but just trying to make it. And even though they're walking through places that are dangerous, they don't see that humanity. They see a blanket welfare baby type, in the fiction. And look what these people jumping all over on white TV. Look at them on white TV. Look what they're doing on white TV. They don't, that's the dehumanization of black people, the criminalization of us to where we are just looked at as the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for people that are surrounded by, like, the 70% example you shared of people not having a black friend.
Get a black friend, not you.
Yeah. So people that are born into that or chose that as their surroundings, their community. What level of responsibility have you felt we should have as a humanity to surround ourselves to do things that for some reason for some people are uncomfortable because they've never done it before, or to surround themselves with a little bit more culture or more diversity, or to kind of what responsibility do you think we as humans should we have?
Let's talk to the races first, because if you hate Mexicans or just blankly Latinos, right? Sun Tzu said, if you hate your enemy, you got to know them well enough to love them. So you got to learn about them, things like that. If you hate me, at least know what I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But for those who don't have a person of color for a friend, if you do have hateful feelings, you should know where they come from. You shouldn't just have this amorphous, floating hatred that's rooted in nothing. That's stupid. Have better hate than that. Have better hate.
Because likely it will not be hate.
And if you are you don't have black friends. I mean, I just watched this TikTok where this lady said, growing up, her father wouldn't let her watch The Proud Family or That's So Raven. And I was just like, damn, man. And he said he wasn't racist, right? And she had this aha moment, when she got her faculties, maybe a little bit of her prefrontal cortex. And then she was like, whoa, that's messed up. I actually have been separating myself from these black folks. I'm going to intentionally go out there. And when I say get a black friend, I don't mean somebody you work with. I'm talking about somebody you have and dinner with. You know what I'm saying? At least you have to have dinner. You know what I'm saying? And talk to them. But yeah, man, I think that, talking to white people, doing grassroots work for the last 15 years, it ain't easy. That's part of the reason why I read History of White People by Nell Painter. Because I wanted to understand y'all, you know what I'm saying? Collectively, as a whole, and learning about the concept of whiteness and what it's done to people of European descent, man, it built up some empathy for what y'all are dealing with. And it allowed me to understand that a little bit and kind of intersect it with my dealing with my patriarchy and toxic masculinity and stuff like that. So I see what white folks is going through. I'm sad. I'm sad for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sad to have such a profound loss of cultural connection. You know what I'm saying? To be left with and isolated with this individualist cultural community rather than the collectivist community that most cultures have, where they look at other people as an important piece of their community. So I can't shoot this man. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you get a community police officer that grew up in that community, they don't shoot little Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? Because Ray Ray's on the basketball team with their son. You know what I'm saying? And they went to school with their mother. You know, but when we have white cops coming from Piedmont here in Oakland, and I used to see him on Seminary in Bancroft, and I saw him predating on one black kid, and I asked him to his face, bro, doesn't it make you mad that they keep sending you to our neighborhoods to F with people? And he turned around and had that good old boy smile. He was like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. Yeah, I used to do stuff like that when I was 16 and 17 too. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's because I didn't know my humanity. That I was able to do that to somebody. And when I realized and my prefrontal cortex grew a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, man, what? That's not me. But that guy thinks he's not racist and he loves beating up little black kids. What do you do with that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I really ain't got no time for that. My job is to
Yeah.
make sure that little black kid has some mental health because I can't stop the police. I get broke into a fire power plant in Asheville, North Carolina with Greenpeace. I've shut down freeways. I've been hit by rubber bullets. I've done politics. I've done community organizing events. You know what I'm saying? But in the current state of things, I can't stop that cop. I got to get back to my daughter. I'm a single black father with full custody. But what I can do is throw a fat ass hip hop show and make sure the voice like Tupac that's going to inspire that little homie to start rapping about police brutality like I did that helped me because I got beat up twice at gunpoint by the SFPD before I was 17. So that should help me. So that's
Mm.
what I could do. And I want to know that I can't do nothing about those cops killing everybody right now in my capacity in business. You know what I'm saying? I post a lot, I talk a lot, I write a lot of articles about things like that. But what I can do to make the biggest impact is to make sure that kid who will be brutalized or is being brutalized or has been brutalized has his community, has all the resources they need to heal because black people are dying. We're dying slowly. The mortality rate of black women dying from childbirth is the only demographic that went up in the last decade. Black people
Oh,
lost half our wealth in the last decade. Uh, what are we going to do? I don't know, but we need to rely on ourselves right now because the whole society is not reliable. It just isn't.
yeah. So we talked about this before we started recording, but if people that are listening, if you don't follow Khafre yet on LinkedIn and follow his newsletter, I highly recommend you do. But and one of the superpowers that Khafre has is ability to have tough conversations. And I think with the advent of technology, it's making it even oh my gosh, there's a cat making it even harder and harder to have tough conversations because
Yeah.
it's easy to hide behind a phone or a screen, let alone like talk to somebody in person about disagreements you have. So, when did you decide that that's superpower that you wanted to build, and how has it evolved over the past decade or so for you?
I don't think I started canvassing with Greenpeace, became the first Bay Area black director running the Bay Area Street team. I didn't think I was going to be doing that, you know what I'm saying? But when I started working for black culture and hip hop, doing that same grassroots work that you see the ACLU do, save the children and whatnot. Um, Man, it's a lot different talking about black kids dying than talking about polar bears. you know, uh, you
Jeez,
know,
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
why I think organizations, big green environmental NGOs, don't talk about black kids in cobalt mining. They talk about polar bears and orangutans. Deforestation. They don't talk about the indigenous people that are being slaughtered
yep.
by these people. They put the trees up front. I think that's a very comfortable place for people of privilege to make their money and have their galas and fundraisers and their No Kings protests while I'm out there and only one white person with the signs that the No Kings protest stops for black women's reproductive justice. So those white folks wanted to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to sing Kumbaya, right? And they wanted to listen and sing their hippie justice songs and then walk right by the black guy asking for solidarity. Lord, Lord, what a world, what a world. But, doing this work, talking about 30 or 40 of the coolest most of the coolest white folks you ever talk to, right? I'm in a suburb in Lafayette, and I'm like, hey, you care about Black women surviving childbirth? There's a lot of white folks that are like, yo, what's going on? Holler. And that doesn't give me hope for our world. That gives me hope for what I can do. And there's some cool people out there. A lot of people say, why are you out in these white neighborhoods like Danville? I don't know if people know about Danville on the stream, but that's about 30 miles east of Oakland. It is a sundownish town. There's not a Black person in sight. It's where the rich folks live. The Black folks there play for the Warriors. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? And they told me I was in the wrong town 3 times the first day I went there. And don't come on Friday, there's a Trump march. So I took my red Make Racists Afraid Again hat, and I was right in the center of the whole damn thing. I was like, you guys care about Black kids? You guys care about Black kids? They hated me. But the 25 white folks that stopped, they were like, bro, what are you doing? They were like, yo, you're amazing. Because they've never seen nothing like that, you know, or maybe not in a while, because people like me generally aren't in Danville, especially not wearing shit like this, you know what I'm saying? Calling out fearless. Ida B. Wells had more to be afraid of than me. Medgar Evers had more to be afraid of, right? And I get to yell at privileged town centers about really prominent issues that make everybody uncomfortable, including me. All right. And they ain't as uncomfortable as I am. But what I realized is when you cast a very wide net, trying to just like placate fragility to see if I can call most people in, that doesn't lead to big piles of wealth redistribution for Black and brown people in my hood. Those people give you $5 and say, I helped the Negro. And that doesn't even feel good. That doesn't reinforce my work. But what does is going out there unapologetically. And first people hear, you care about Black women dying 4 times more in the Bay giving birth than white women. People are like, why are you doing that? Because the people who say, yes, I do, they already been looking for something to do, right? They're looking for giving somebody $100, $200, and they'll probably come to a show. We always have like one white family at the show, and they have hella fun. And I invite so many people, right? Because it's really bad for our brains to see Black culture on white media purely. But yeah, I think that's why I've been able to raise $250,000 this year. I do 11 pregnancy events, 55, open mic, weekly rap writing contests rooted in justice. Why I've been able to do this hip hop therapy is because we have people that really rock with us. And if you don't really rock with us, I don't get paid enough to explain fascism to you. You know what I'm saying? Although I did get a $100 Trump supporter to donate $100 just last week. I told him I'd be his first Black Panther friend, homie. Holla at me. You know? Because I say things like that. You can follow me on Instagram, Khafre Jay. A lot of people don't like it. They call the police on me every time I'm in Lafayette, like 97% of the time, probably. The police know me, and I'm doing my First Amendment protected speech. But I don't think it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I've turned a couple people around. I think the biggest thing is I get them. You know, people get really mad because they're like, shocked. How dare you speak to me like that? You say whatever you want to me, homie. I get you. I see where you're hurting. You know what I'm saying? And people are so similar. They're very similar. They say the same racist things over and over again if they're racist. They say the same sexist things over and over again if they're sexist. But I'm out there every day listening and talking, so I have so much time to build up my retort. And what I always tell my staff is like, if you don't have something to say that's going to make it easier for people to deal with this jerk, then be quiet, first off, right? Because our goal is not to just get our anger rocks off. Our goal is to take our power back, right? And you do that not by being angry. Matter of fact, if you want to hurt somebody's feelings, smile, right? Smile while you tell them the truth. If I call you a jerk, we might be being a jerk, but that would be like, hey, you don't know me, I'm not a jerk. So I'm not going to call you a jerk. I'm actually going to tell you what you did. Hey, man, I get that from a lot of people that look like you, and it kind of keeps me a little hopeless. But you enjoy the privileges. You walk around eating ice cream. I'm going to go back to saving Black women. You know what I'm saying? And I do that with a smile. Oh, man, I wouldn't model that behavior in front of my 6-year-old daughter. If somebody was walking around trying to stop, rape culture, I would make sure as a father that I would show her that we value that while I'm going to eat ice cream. And they go, hey, what'd you say? I said, you heard what I said. But you have a nice day. And I leave it at that. People hate the truth. They hate it. And I'm here to disrupt all this comfort right here because we're dying. And I think that the biggest thing that we can do if we really want to break through to people Understand them. Sun Tzu, man, you know what I'm saying? Figure out where they're coming from because you probably agree with the basis of their fear. You know what I'm saying? They're just being stupid about how to deal with it or misinformed, which is stupid to me anyway. At this point, I think these people are willfully stupid, right? If not racist and bigoted. But I think that a lot of people they lose the goose and just telling people how angry they are instead of telling people how just the truth, right? Call somebody an idiot, and they're like, "Oh, you don't know me, see?" I can call somebody a crazy name, and that will give them one leg to stand on, so they can deflect the entirety of my truth just because I called them an idiot. And guess what? You'll make somebody so much more mad if you just smile and tell them exactly what they did to their face.
Yeah. Well, how are you able to like? Because I follow you on socials and really great videos. How are you able to track the impact of those conversations? Because I feel like changing somebody's belief is so hard to do, but I
Yeah.
feel like what you're on to is like accelerating that belief
Oh,
change.
Oh no, I
Um,
don't. I don't track any of that, bro. That's not my job.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I think that a lot of people have the problem of entering conversations needing an outcome. There's stupid people, dog. Like we're not, I can't change a lot of people. I've changed some people, and if I'm in a
yeah,
conversation and I see somebody that still sees my humanity, they just think I'm being stupid, and they really genuinely care about this. I might take the time, just be like, here, boom, here's a gem, here's a nugget for you. And I got to get back to saving black people because I don't get paid enough to teach you shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
But other than that, man, it's like I'll drop my science and yo, I got to get back to my work. That even makes people more mad because me being this black man in this white suburb, these white folks are not used to black people in their space that have their own autonomy, right, and their own intellect, right, and their own like sharp-witted tongue that will like Zorro. And a lot of people who come from privileged backgrounds, maybe country clubs, like they hate that. Oh, they hate that. You know what I'm saying? And so I just love it when these people just want to give me the business. They want to tell me off, but I don't care. Hey, I don't have time for this conversation. You don't pay me enough. I'm gonna go talk to people who actually care. Bye, Ken. Have a nice day. Oh, they'll start trying to yell and scream. Oh, I'm gonna call them. Call them. And then I see more white folks. They're like, "What? Why is he doing this to this black activist?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just trying to save black women. What's your name?" You know what I'm saying? So like, dude,
yeah,
and I don't want to check and see if that landed. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, yeah.
I, you
That's
know,
not the point. That's not the point.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's got to be out of my hundreds of thousands of of just throwing some game at some person's face who didn't see my humanity. They went home and had introspection. I've had people come back and be like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. You're fighting for this, and I'm just eating ice cream. And so this happened. You know what I'm saying? But conversely, I can also imagine that some people went home and beat up their whole family. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's none of my business. My business is to pay 8 black and brown people and 1 white man that works for me. Make sure they have it, and then go throw these events so black and brown people can have the same resources and access to healthcare. I could care less, and I think we only have enough emotional capacity, as everybody just has their own box filled with their own
Yeah.
emotional capacity. I was just telling 2 of my coworkers this morning, yo, don't waste your oatmeal on these people. It takes a lot of ATP to think, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of oatmeal to make that. And oatmeal's expensive, you know what I'm saying? So I could go cuss out this white man who might deserve it, who might have said something really abhorrent. Or I can get back to making this money, you know what I'm saying? So we can
Yeah.
have this dream and build this movement. Why would I waste my oatmeal on somebody who's not even on our side and ain't gonna help this black woman have a resource so she can have a doula and healthy pregnancies? Don't waste your oatmeal on these cats. Matter of fact, it's not a waste of oatmeal to quickly check somebody and be like, yeah, because you'll never walk up to a black man that looks like me again thinking that you're just gonna sun me, you know what I'm saying? You're just gonna paternalistically talk down on me. That ain't gonna happen again. You will always walk up to a black man after me, being a little uncomfortable, knowledgeable that you might get rhetorically roasted next time. But I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Afterwards, I ain't wasting my old man.
Yeah. Oh. So hip hop for the future. What do you guys have going on in the
Oh
next
man.
months, weeks, future that you want to call out and bring to people's attention that you're pumped about?
So I this cat. I just got a new kitten for my daughter.
It's a cute cat, man.
Yeah, snuggles. I give my daughter everything. Anyway, I talked about the public health hip hop shows, and organizations evolve as you do it. I think the most important thing, Tupac said he might not start the revolution, but it'll spark the mind that does. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Drip Fest, the San Francisco Pregnancy Family Village, Hip Hop Therapy, KPOO, these are all places where my culture is consumed, for good, mind you. Those are important, but nothing's more important than actually having a facilitating space that creates the culture, right? I had my first show at the Glen Park Rec Center, which is in this really white neighborhood in San Francisco. It doesn't happen no more. Black people are 38.7% of the homeless and 5% of the population. So the math doesn't work for us to have steady places, right? So my job is to create flow lounge. This is my dream right here, is to make sure that we have the ecosystem that women feel safe starting to rap for the first time, where men feel safe trying to rap, and everybody in between. Because the open mic is a place where people are supported, right? We have no generation gaps at Flow Lounge. It's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. DJ Lex from Hieroglyphics starts rocking, throwing instrumentals down. We got Do That, mental health, mindfulness practitioner and hip hop. He's done hip hop work with a lot of hip hop therapy stuff. He does the MCing. We got Frank Stickles as another MC. I rock too every Wednesday. It's a tiring day for me. But yeah, everybody gets to open the mic, grab it, say what they need to. We have the rap writing contest at 10. If you follow us on Instagram, Hip Hop for the Future, you'll get the topic and the beats. And people have all week, maybe all month, to write your 216s. The crowd picks the winner by QR code. So it's all up to the hip hop guys, as we say. And we've had people who've never rapped before win our contest, because it's not about skill or being hard. That's the imagery that you get when you watch hip hop through white media. It's not about that. Hip hop is the same reason why it's good for mental health. It's the same reason that a winner can win, because it's about what you put on the table. It's about vulnerability and openness and trying. It's about trying to be in community. And that gets celebrated more than somebody grabbing their genitalia and slouching and thinking I'm better than you. Why do we have these depictions of black culture so often? We could write a dissertation on that. But Flow Lounge, this is the healing spot that creates the next voices and griots. And without that, black people don't have efficacy over our information. So that's what I'm trying to do. We got about 299 monthly donors that I've been working 7 days a week for the last year and a half to acquire, so we can have this place fully covered. But one event in Berkeley is not enough for the Bay Area. So I need about 215 more monthly donors that we call culture keepers, because black people can't keep our own culture so far in this country. And then we'll start Flow Lounge San Francisco. Our goal is by January 20th. Then I'll need another 280 monthly donors doing $10 or more a month, and then we'll open up San Jose. Once we have that Bay Area solidified, mind you, we'll be having sponsorship opportunities. If Janine Tech wants to get us rapping about, I don't know, RNA, you know what I'm saying? We can get a bunch of rappers rapping about that. And then we'll go off to LA. We'll get that going there, then out to New York, because I really want to create this ecosystem, this web of local hubs, of open mics, rap writing contests, where we can curate the idea. Because if the industry is giving paychecks for pathology, right? We need to give a community for people to come together, just about positive stuff. We need to have that ecosystem to push for those strong voices. Because I don't care how hard you rap about killing people. Once you hear your ancestral drums, you cannot just rap about killing people the same. It's kind of, like I said, I like a couple Pop Smoke songs, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I like rap about humanity, you
Yeah.
know? So that's what I need. I need help. I need help getting a day off. I need help getting but the Bay Area, and I think black people, and I think even white people benefit when black people have a strong, healthy, collective conscience in hip hop too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I need. I need 215 more monthly donors and 280 more. Then I need to talk to Serena Williams and Kendrick Lamar about coming down to Compton with Flow Lounge, and then Lamert Park with the homies over there with that breakdancing school, and spread this around. Because kids, they do not want to play William Tell's Overture, but they will scratch the hell out of it in band class if you let me come into your K-12. You know what I'm saying? They'll learn about the math of music, because they do it through their own cultural vehicles. So if you need me to do college lectures, if you need me to throw your community event, we curate galas, fundraisers. My job essentially is just getting hip hop artists paid, and giving our community a place that's stable enough to do it.
Where can people find you and find all this
Man,
information?
Yeah, you can go to hiphopforthefuture.org. That's my business. You can go to khafrejay.com, listen to my third album, Critical Race Hip Hop, or buy some of these clothes if you want to cause good trouble at khafrejay.com. Follow Hip Hop for the Future on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see the stuff I go through trying to raise money for my culture. And yeah, do yourself a favor. You know, I just watched a documentary from Fall of Civilizations podcast on Sumeria, the Assyrian Empire. Like, I like to learn about people. You know what I'm saying? When you have worldly knowledge of what cultures can be, it helps you view your own. And I can't expect white folks to care about me and what blackness means to me if they just think they're white. You know what I'm saying? Within 50 years of Irish people immigrating to the United States, they were pro-slavery about 90%. You know what I'm saying? How easily we forget. And then their kids weren't called O'Connor, they were called Connor. So I tell people to go learn a song in your ancestral language, man, and then come make sure you come to a hip hop event that's controlled by the people, that's put on by the people. You know, it's really important. Go get a black friend. You know what I'm saying? Go listen to a really cool hip hop artist. Go listen to Khafre Jay. I don't care. Let's go find some good hip hop. Be part of that community. And yeah, just I don't know. Good luck to us all. Because I don't do this stuff because I'm hopeful. I do this stuff because what I do is very impactful.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Khafre, thank you so much for your time. It's always an honor talking to you. And I'll be in San Francisco in a couple weeks, so we'll have to
Hey,
connect in person.
you,
But
you
yeah, we're
gotta come
honored
to
to share
Flow.
this.
You gotta come to Flow Lounge and you gotta write your bars and we gotta get you rapping on stage. You only live once.
It's on Wednesdays, right? Yeah.
You're here Wednesdays, man. We'll roll
Okay.
out the red carpet for you, brother. We'll roll out the red
Okay.
carpet for you.
All right. Thank you so much.
You
Really
bet.
appreciate it, and I'll connect with you on that. It sounds like a good time. But yeah, we're honored to share your story, and thank you so much for your time. And we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, brother. Peace. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.